British lawyer Andrew Eborn is with us now. Andrew, good day to you.
Good day to you too.
We have seen the former prince leaving that police station last night looking quite frankly shell-shocked. What is it likely the investigators would have been asking him?
Well, it is extraordinary, isn't it? History was made yesterday and then paused. For the first time in nearly 400 years, a senior member of the royal family was arrested. The relevant charges, and we have very strict rules in the UK about what we can and cannot say because of contempt of court. But the important point is that nobody is above the law. The police themselves, when they announced that a man had been arrested in his 60s, when we found out it was Andrew and it was his 66th birthday, it was actually the king, his brother, who announced that it was Andrew being arrested. And it was this thing about abuse of, if you like, public position. Was there any wrongdoing in what he did in terms of his relationship with Epstein? But the important thing about contempt of court is that we're not allowed to speculate about the evidence. We're not allowed to comment on the evidence that may or may not come forward. I always say, look, sunlight is the best disinfectant, and trust comes in on foot and leaves on horseback, and trust in the media, trust in lawyers, trust in the royal family is at an all-time low. So what the king has done is to help restore that trust by taking the narrative, turning around and saying we've got to follow the due process. The police will now be looking for evidence. That's what they're doing. They're searching Royal Lodge in Windsor. And once they've got their evidence, they will decide what they're going to do, whether there will be a charge. And if there is a charge, then basically the former prince will be brought to the magistrates' court and then either released on bail or appropriate sort of steps taken. And the reality then, it will go through the relevant process. But we are too early to say that at the moment. The police are carrying out their investigation. And whilst they do that, as I say, we're muzzled in terms of what we can do regarding speculation.
Andrew, I'm not going to ask you to do speculation then. I will ask you to give us an explanation of the law. Admittedly, this is extraordinary, but there is a timing question here. We know the British government was given a heads up by police, just 30 minutes as they're on their way to arrest the former prince. But the king was not given a heads up, even though the arrest took place on royal grounds. Is any of that unusual?
Well, it's not normally unusual because the simple reason they want to have that element of surprise. They wouldn't say we're about to arrest somebody. The king was taken by surprise, but I think that people would have expected it. The mood in the country is exactly that. There's several documents, millions of documents are released around Epstein. Lots of people were clamoring, well, where's justice going to be done? And I think there's two elements we need to clarify here. Is one, that this is about misconduct in a public office, which is no ordinary charge. It demands proof of a deliberate, serious abuse of public trust by a public official. It is extremely high bar, and the reason for that is that the penalty, the maximum penalty, is life in prison. The important point to point out, however, is nothing to do with the allegations about sexual conduct. And I think whilst we had Virginia Giuffre and lots of victims coming out and speaking, this particular arrest has nothing to do with that. And I think that's the important point we need to look at. The royal family have also been at pains to say that their consideration first is always for the victims. Prince Edward said that very recently. His Majesty the King and also Her Majesty the Queen mentioned that it's all about the victims and their hearts go out to them. And I think that's the important point. This is not the end of the story. This is just the beginning.
And so where does Andrew sit in this moment? He was under arrest. He is no longer in custody, but presumably he has been cautioned and questioned. What now?
Well, what now is that the police are looking for evidence, and once they have that evidence, they will decide whether or not they're going to proceed with a charge. Whilst all of this is happening, then until there's been a complete discharge, everybody is subject to this contempt of court. So I understand they're at Royal Lodge. We saw pictures of two cars going in to Royal Lodge, unmarked cars. The BBC reported it, so I'm merely repeating what the BBC and footage we've seen on that sort of basis. They will look at that, see if there there is any evidence, and then work out appropriate. But the important point is that everybody is innocent until proven guilty. And what I liked about the King coming out and making that powerful statement is nobody is above the law. And we must remember the personal side of this. This is the King's own brother, and the humiliation, the devastating effect, the tarnish that this has on the crown. It is the biggest potential scandal in royal history.
Andrew, I appreciate your insight. Thank you.
Good to join you.